Really interesting story to me was when Ian Rapoport said this week that Sam Darnold is the likely week one starter. And the quote was, if Trey continues the trajectory that he's been on, then it's more than likely that Sam Darnold will be the week one starter. Okay. So who's whispering to Ian Rapoport? Is somebody whispering to Ian? I mean, does Ian know something that we don't know? He's a highly credible reporter. There's no question about it. It's totally unlike him to speculate. Why, if you were going to assume that one player would win the quarterback job over the other, wouldn't you assume that Trey Lance, who's looked decent at times and has been in the system, would know the system better? Wouldn't he be the guy that you would kind of be your, I don't know, your default week one starter? Wouldn't it be Trey and not Darnold? Instead, in his mind, it was Darnold and not Trey. And what do you think he's getting at there? It's like, I mean, if Trey continues the trajectory that he's been on, then it's more than likely that Darnold is the week one starter. What do you think he's getting at there?
Well, I think you need to get Ian Rapoport on to,
I know, I
to figure
do.
that out. But I agree with you. I mean, trajectory suggests that he's been slumping for a while now,
Right.
um, and he hasn't. I mean, he got hurt in the first quarter of week two, and that's his major red flag. It's not that he's been playing poorly at all. So I don't know what he's getting at. I mean, there does seem to be this national narrative that Trey Lance has been this colossal disappointment and
Right.
totally not worth what they gave up for him. Um, it has been disappointing, but it's not been because Trey Lance has been a bad quarterback or a bad leader, or he hasn't put the work in, or some sort of situation like they have in Arizona, where he's playing video games. He is really, really well respected inside the locker room. Gets along well with everybody. Is best friends on the team with Brock Purdy. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. And I agree with you. I think if you had to pick between the two of them, Darnold, who has been a colossal disappointment and
Right.
who has been on a bad trajectory, although we have to say that his last few games with the Panthers were the best of his career. That's the guy who's got the bad trajectory, not Trey Lance.
Yeah. I mean, if you said to me, put everything you own on Lance or Darnold to win that competition, I'm betting on Lance.
I'm betting on Lance too.
And Darnold's got some really ugly statistics. Though, were you shocked at all that how glowing Kyle Shanahan has been of Darnold? I mean, I've always liked Sam Darnold as a prospect, the way he throws. I mean, Shanahan doesn't throw around compliments very much at all, especially about the quarterbacks. And he was somewhat effusive in his praise of Darnold. And it's incredible when you consider what Darnold's resume actually looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume that Shanahan's going back to 2017, when the 49ers were doing quite a bit of quarterback work because they knew that they needed to bring in somebody in 2018 to lead the team. So ostensibly, he was looking at the Rosens, the Darnolds, the Josh Allens that year. And back then, everybody thought that Darnold was the pick of the litter. I mean, that's a really good quarterback class, and it's really telling how wrong people were in how they stacked them that year. And Darnold does have a really good arm, a really talented sort of live arm, probably better than Lance's and certainly better than Brock Purdy's. He just hasn't been able to put it together at this point. And I don't know if the processing speed is really good. I don't know. I had not studied him. I just know that he hasn't been as successful as everybody, including me. And I forget how you ranked them back in 2018. Going to be a really good class, where everybody thought that Darnold and Rosen were at the top, and then Allen and Lamar Jackson were sort of the mystery guys, so on and so forth. But
I
It
like Baker. I thought of that group. I liked Baker. I just thought he threw the ball the best. Had the moxie, and I really liked him. Never liked Darnold. Didn't I saw a bunch of Josh Allen in college. He just didn't look like a big time player to me. I thought Lamar was more of a kind of a backup type quarterback who would run around. I didn't see the greatness in Lamar. But didn't like Darnold. Darnold just turned the ball over an awful lot at USC, and he's continued to in the NFL.